Hello friends, this is Dr. Amarjeet Kaur, Professor of Accounting and Business Communication at the Department of Management, Gurugram University, Gurugram. This is my privilege that I am here with you to talk about creative thinking skills. This is a very interesting topic, creative thinking skills. As the name suggests, we are going to talk about skills, and creative thinking is in itself a skill, and in the skills it is a soft skill, not a hard skill, right? So as the soft skills are talked about everywhere nowadays in any program, be it engineering, commerce, management, law, everywhere we emphasize upon the importance and the need of soft skills. So creative thinking is one of the soft skills which are in demand today, and that's why we are going to discuss about it today in this session. So, in 21st century, there are many learning skills which are spoken, which are talked about, and four of those important skills are actually denoted as 4 C's of 21st century learning. So, one is critical thinking, second is creative thinking, third is communication, fourth is collaborating. So, this is what we call as 4 C's of learning skills, right. So, first C is critical thinking, second is creative thinking, third is communicating well, and fourth is collaborating. So, if you look at that, these 4 C's, one of the C is creative thinking. That is what we are discussing today. So, critical thinking, and creative thinking, people somehow take that they are somehow similar. There is a little difference, there is actually fairly difference between the two. So, we are going to talk about creative thinking, irrespective that we are not ignoring that critical thinking is important, we are not ignoring that communicating effectively is important or collaborating is important. All the 4 C's are essential in today's environment to sustain yourself in any at any workplace, in any business, or for that matter in any profession. So, we really need to have critical thinking or creative thinking. We need to think creatively, we need to find solutions innovatively for the problems we deal in nowadays, and of course communicating is the most important one, which we always talk, and we are discussing as part of business communication, this creative thinking. And collaborating is also becoming very important, because nowadays the teams are diverse, people are working in a team, but they all are from different part of the world, different background, different location, different culture background. So, collaboration between the people of diverse areas, knowledge areas, somebody is good in engineering, somebody is good in semiconductor, somebody is good in laser technology, somebody is good in communication, writing, etc., and they all need to collaborate to solve any problem. So, out of these 4 important skills, we are going to talk about creative thinking. So, if I talk about the background, why we need to discuss about creative thinking skills, the background is this is becoming very common to select or seek team members who have creative thought process to get benefit in several ways and increase productivity. For individuals, learning how to develop this skill may increase work performance and satisfaction in one's career. So, let me discuss this for you now. So, it is becoming very common that when we are recruiting people, when we are recruiting anybody or recruiting a new member in a team, we want to have those people in our team who are creative in their thought process, right? Why? Because the problems which we are facing are very numerous, and they are coming, there are new challenges which are not known to the people who are millennials, who are baby boomers. So, because the most of the population, especially in our country, is from Gen Z, right? So, they have unique kind of problems, demands and expectations. So, to deal with different set of population, different requirement of different people, and to improve the productivity, of course, we need to have members in our team who have creating creative thought process, right? To seek the benefit, we would like to hire such people, and those individuals who are learning how to develop this skill, they may increase their work performance. They can actually improve their performance by improving their creative thinking skills, right? And it will lead to satisfaction in the career of the person who has developed creative thinking skills. This is the background. Further, in the background, creative thinking is a valuable, remarkable and markable soft skill, valued and looked for in a wide variety of careers. It helps people to make a strong position in any team or group. So, what does it mean? Creative thinking is really valuable because people are able to think out of box, provide solution, they are able to collaborate, they are able to experiment solutions one after the another, right. So, it is a very marketable, it is a remarkable and marketable soft skill, because people are actually keen to hire those people who are good in creative thinking. So, this skill is valued all across, all kind of career, be it a lawyer, be it a manager, be it a engineer, everywhere whosoever has developed creative thinking, this particular skill is going to be valued, right. And it also helps people to make position in any team, because you will be acknowledged for your creative skill, you will be identified independently, you will be identified that yes, this guy, this female has creative thinking. So, it really helps in making the strong position. Now, what is the meaning of creative thinking skills? So, creative thinking refers to the process of innovative problem solving, from analyzing the facts to brainstorming with others. It is the ability to come up with unique, original solutions, also known as creative problem solving. So, creative thinking is something which refers, it's a process, right? It's a process of solving the problem, but innovatively. So, it's an innovative problem solving process. How do we do that? We do that, we solve the problem by analyzing facts and then brainstorming it with others. So, it is not that I am taking decision with my own knowledge or limited knowledge I have or my experience I have. I am not just relying upon what I know. I am actually gathering facts, analyzing it further, and then I am brainstorming those facts, figures with others as well. So, that is what is innovative problem solving, right. So, it is an ability to finally come up with some unique idea, some solution which is original in nature, right. So, that is why we call it as creative problem solving. So, creative thinking can actually lead to the real solution to a problem in a creative manner. So, that is the end result after creative thinking can actually lead to creative problem solving. So, that is what the meaning of creative thinking is. If I explain it further, this is an ability to approach a situation with swift problem solving and innovation. This refers to thinking of a solution while brainstorming, collaborating and analyzing the situation with others. So, this is an ability, right. So, ability can be developed, abilities are there by birth, and abilities can also be developed by working on it. So, it is an ability in which somebody will approach to a situation very swiftly, without making hue and cry, without making very noise. So, the problem can be solved very swiftly by innovative approach, by gathering the facts, by gathering the figures, brainstorming those facts and figures with others, and that is how we solve the problem. So, this refers to thinking of a solution while brainstorming, collaborating and analyzing the situation with others. So, collaborating is an important part of creative thinking skill, right. So, you have to understand that if you really wish to develop this thing, you should be able to express yourself. Unless you are able to express yourself, right, verbally, orally, written, whatever way. So you cannot indulge into effective brainstorming. So to collaborate, we should be able to express. It means the communication plays a very important role. We talked about 4 C's, right? So actually the communication, the one C, and the collaborating, the another C, are complementing the C, creative thinking, right? So we can actually collaborate and communicate well. So these are the two essential to be a good creative thinker, right? So if you want to develop creative thinking skill, you need to look at the fact, how are you in communication, how good or bad are you in collaborating with others, right? So these 2 C's out of those 4 C's, collaborating and communication, they become essential requirement for anyone to be good in creative thinking, right? So third C, creative thinking is dependent upon. In fact, communication is something which plays a role everywhere. Now, if I talk about further meaning of creative thinking skill, in summary, the creative thinkers are more likely to experiment with different ideas and solutions until they find the right fit. Additionally, they identify patterns that seem unlikely or less obvious to others. That is why we call them creative thinkers. So, let me explain this what I just said to you. So, if I have to conclude what creative thinking skill is, so it is actually referring to those people to whom we call as creative thinkers, who are more likely or most likely, who are ready to experiment with different ideas and solution until they find the right fit. You know, it means they are open to listen to your argument, they are open to listen to your views, they are open to express their own reservations, they are open to share the challenges they are facing, they are open to condemn somebody, right? So of course, with due respect, we can actually express anything firmly without losing the respect for other. So this is essential that a creative thinker shall be experimenting with different ideas to actually, before he or she reaches to a solution. And they also are the ones who will identify the pattern, how the facts are moving, how the data is moving, how the information is moving, what kind of trend we have, do we have downward trend or upward trend, how the things are moving. So they will identify the pattern, and they will and they will actually see very easily what is not visible to others. So they are going to see something which is very unlikely, which is less obvious, because they are thinking creatively, they are involving people, they are getting facts and figures, they are going systematic way, right? So this is the summary. In summary, we can say that creative thinkers are the ones who really bring out the solutions by collaborating, by good effective communication, by identifying pattern, analyzing data. That is what creative thinking skills are. So now, moving further, we are going to talk about certain examples, situations of creative thinking skills. So the first is creative writing, the second is open mindedness, then third is problem solving, fourth is analysis, fifth is collaboration. So these are, if you want to develop creative thinking skill, so what should you be improving in yourself? First of all, look at your creative writing skills. Are you able to express your ideas creatively in your writing? So creative writing is very important part of creative thinking, because most of the people, when they actually are working to solve something, they will think about it and then they will write. They will draw some conclusion, they will further write, then further discuss further, and then they end up with some solution. So creative writing is essential part, is one of the way of actually applying creative thinking skill. They are open minded people. So it means if you want to develop your creative thinking skill, you need to be ready to listen, any adverse comment on your thinking, any adverse effect comment on your proposal, because unless you are open minded, that is essential. Unless you are open minded, you will not be able to listen to the views of others, even if you call for a brainstorm session, right? To get the benefit of brainstorm session, to leverage the brainstorm session, you need it to be open minded, right? So that is the second thing which is required to develop creative thinking skill. The person needed to be open minded. And the third is problem solving. Your attitude should be to solve the problem. Your attitude should not be to linger on the problem, to just ignore the problem, just not to respond to the problem. Your attitude to the problem or towards the problem should be to solve it. So if you will keep in your mind that I have to solve it and I have to give a best solution, I have to give most effective solution. If you have that zest, that kind of mindset, only then you can use creative thinking effectively. So problem solving is the part of creative thinking skill. And then you cannot solve the problem effectively unless you analyze the data, the facts, the figure, the information which you have in your hand. So analysis automatically becomes the part of creative thinking. So people would analyze the available information, inputs. When we say open mindedness, if you are open minded, you are listening to other and then you are analyzing that data. Why did he or she propose this solution? Why did he or she submitted this point of view even? So you will analyze it with open minded and you will analyze every input, and that's how you will actually link or connect all the dots and will reach to some solution. And for that you should be open up to collaborate. You should accept that one cannot be master of everything. You may be good in 1, 2, 3 areas, but you cannot be good in all the areas. And nowadays problems are complex. Many disciplines, many areas are involved in any problem or any issue. So you need to collaborate with people of diverse areas, diverse specialties, diverse skill set, diverse culture, diverse teams, diverse departments. So you need to collaborate with people so that you can actually reach to the solution. So these are the examples of creative thinking skills. Now I am going to talk about types of creative thinking. So there are 5 types I am going to talk. The first one is aesthetic thinking. Second one is divergent thinking. The third is lateral thinking. The fourth is convergent thinking, and the fifth one is inspirational thinking. So aesthetic thinking. So what does it mean? It means you would if you are solving some problem and you are a creative thinker, you will reframe the problem itself. You will re-look at the problem. So instead of just going into one direction, you may think something about the problem or some aspect of the problem which has not been talked about at all, which has not been discussed at all. So you will look or you will reframe the problem itself. Someone say the sales is falling because of XYZ feature of the product, but you will say sales is falling because we have some problem with our product. You will not assume XY feature itself. You will like to reframe the problem and then go deeper into all the features, responses, everything, right? So that is reframing the problem, because somebody just framed the problem that product sale is falling because of XY feature. That was how the problem was solved by framed by somebody. But you as a creative thinker, you widen the scope. You have just reframed the problem saying the sales are declining because of some feature in the product, or maybe pricing, or maybe economical reason, or maybe some other reason not thought of at all. So you can reframe the problem. This is just one example. There are many ways to reframe the problem. So that is what is known as aesthetic thinking. So we start thinking aesthetically various aspects of the problem before we actually proceed further. The second is divergent thinking. It is actually traditional brainstorming, that we put up the problem in front of the team whom we have collaborated, and then we think of divergent means various aspects, right? So we thought of pricing, as well as we thought of the product, we thought of the team performance, we thought of economical factors, within economical factors, we thought of local factors and international factors, we thought of political factors, diverge. So the traditional brainstorming is that all the aspects are thought about, diverged, right? So we are diverging into various aspects, and gradually we are narrowing down to something which is looking more common, more familiar, more influencing, of course with the inputs from everybody who is the part of the team, right? Then third one is lateral thinking. This is something everybody talks about. So lateral thinking, also known by step ideas generation, right? So here we generate ideas step by step. So we take a step back, we start with small step. What if this is true? What if this happens, right? So we start with one step, we go to the second step, right? Then we discuss that. Then we approach to the third step, we look at the various aspects in that step, and so on, right? So we are generating ideas step by step. So what if this happens? This will happen. This will be the outcome. This will be the response. What if we take this call? What if we take this action? What if we involve this team, right? So many ifs are answered one by one. So this will lead to this. This is the first step. That step will lead to the another step, second step, right? So we are generating, ideas are generated in step stages. The fourth one is convergent thinking. Convergent thinking is basically the logic is used, right? So we are trying to discover facts, figures, but we are using some logic. We are not moving to the second step without using logic. So our second step, our next step, so we are referring to facts, we are discovering facts, we are discovering data, analyzing it, and we are using some logic, right? So we are connecting. So most of the time in convergent thinking, people will use data, right? Numbers are referred. So lateral thinking may not have, lateral thinking may have just the information, right? But in convergent thinking, logic has a much effective role. Facts become more important than the just step by step thinking or than anything else. So we discover ideas, we discover solutions by using logic, by referring to facts. Inspirational thinking is something, here imagination is used, right? So we go beyond the facts. So it's a high end thinking. So we are inspired by some other story, we are inspired by some other solution. So we take inspiration from some input, from some story, some case study, some lesson, right? So imagination plays a role in inspirational thinking, and we get inspired by that case study, by that logic, and that's how we we come up with solution. So whichever type of creative thinking any person may use, first thing is to remember that it's not that everybody will be using only one type of creative thinking. So people use different type of creative thinking in different situations, in different problems, right? The problem, sometimes it's a scientific problem, it is something to do with chemical reaction, it has to do something with very scientific method solution, then I will be using step by step. I need to use lateral. But once once you have actually concluded to something, still the solution is to be reached here. You may get some data by using lateral thinking, but then gradually during, towards the last stage, you may use convergent. You may combine different types of thinking, right? So it's not necessary that every time I will be using only one type of creative thinking, or for solving one problem I would be using only one type of creative thinking. I may use more than one type of creative thinking to address any issue, right? So this is these are the types of creative thinking, and this was the discussion on what the creative thinking skill is. As I said, it is a soft skill, it is the most desirable skill in 21st century, and is desired, is looked after in any area, in any kind of career, and is the most important skill to develop nowadays. So with this, I would like to wind up. Thank you very much, friends. Thank you.